Chair now recognizes the gentleman from Alabama, Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chair, quick question. The Crossfire Hurricane investigation and subsequent surveillance of Carter Page revealed dysfunction and political bias, obviously on the part of the FBI leadership, but also it revealed problems with FISC. Is that correct?
It did. It illustrated that FISC does not always examine the warrant applications under Title I with sufficient care, and that's one of the reasons that our organization, working with Senator Lee and many others, has been pushing for reforms at the FISC that would allow amici, friends of the court, to participate in important FISC proceedings to ensure that privacy is protected.
So one of the reforms, are there other reforms that you recommend to help as we work through this process of reauthorizing 702 that we could put into the law that would help eliminate some of these abuses? And Lord, there have been a number of them. Well,
the amicus requirements were strengthened somewhat in RISA. I think they can be strengthened still further. RISA did contain a very useful provision in that it allowed the chair and the ranking member of this committee, for example, to sit in on FISC proceedings so that there's more of a window of transparency there. And there's certainly FISC needs additional staff. They need to have additional people who are cleared so that they can process their business more expeditiously. But
also, RISA, I think we put in the required the same judge to renew the application process. Is that?
Yes.
And
right.
And there were some other things too. One of the things the reason I was a no vote is I thought there should be a warrant requirement. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And
so that was stripped out at the end, and that was a tough vote for many of us. We wanted to do what we could to renew this thing, but when you got, you know, when I came to D.C., they wanted to issue me another government phone, and I said, I think you just need to put everything on one phone. They're like, well, sir, if we do that, we're going to know everything that's on your phone. I thought to myself, like you don't already, right? Yeah. So as we're going through these hearings, we understand they're spying on U.S. citizens without warrants. And so that was one of the things that I thought we absolutely needed to do. And what are improvements that Congress can consider for FISC on how it operates? Some other improvements as we're going through this process?
None beyond those I've just mentioned.
Okay, so very good. Mr. Chernowski, will you explain how the government has abused non-disclosure orders relating to the use of information obtained under FISA?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Representative. The government has utilized the information gathered underneath FISA in numerous of instances to spy on Americans, whether that was spying on protesters during the Black Lives Matter riots or looking at the communications of 19,000 donors to a political campaign. The list goes on. And really, when people see that revelation coming out after the fact, it does undermine their trust because they feel that the government now is starting to snoop at them. That has a real chilling effect. If now, simply because you want to support a candidate, now you could be subjected to government surveillance, I think that that is a pretty unnerving kind of outcome for people to see kind of carry out. And even in this most recent iteration of the FISA reauthorization fight, to see that those surveillance authorities had been abused to spy on a sitting member of Congress, a sitting member of the Senate, it showed to me that the intelligence community seemingly had no self-restraint on what they were willing to do in order to get access to whatever information they thought was necessary. And that's really alarming.
Extremely alarming, and for those of us, one of the top issues was always the weaponization of the government, and certainly certain members were spied on, and like you said, members of Congress. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll yield my remaining time to our friend Mr. Klein if he wants to take it. If not, I'll yield back to you.
I appreciate the yielding. Mr. Kiko, do you think you would support an independent audit of these queries conducted under 702?
Yeah, I would support that.
How else can we ensure meaningful congressional oversight when most of the relevant details are classified and shielded from public scrutiny?
Well, I just think there's a lot of requirements that are already in the law, and I just would hope that that the requirements are adhered to in a very quick manner. The audits are done in a very quick manner, and the audits and requirements are audited in the next year. So if they're not complied with, then you can deal with that through the next reauthorization. But I do think that, you know, the IG was very good in coming up with all the problems and everything, and the Congress responded to, you know, 15 or 20, you know, requirements in it, but it's basically oversight is you have to bring the intelligence community to heel.
Thank you.
Gentleman's time's expired. Now recognize the gentleman from California, Mr. Kiley, for 5 minutes.